Yeah.
Oh, that hurt me. And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock. It is Wednesday, April 24th. Jaden McDaniels is awesome edition. It's going to be some fun. We got two games ahead of us, Miami and Boston, which probably won't be good. Pelicans and Oklahoma City. I hope it's not good on the Oklahoma City side at the very least, but we'll get into that. First and foremost, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow us both on Twitter. What's good, man? Jaden McDaniels season.
Oh, I love him. I love my Timberwolves 2-0. What a great feeling. I'd rather go 0-3 in the regular season and 2-0 to start off the first round. So feel good about my Timberwolves. Was looking at flights to potentially go home for the next round. So hopefully they can get out. Hopefully that's not jinxing it. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked about our spot.
I need Minnesota to start losing just personally. Has nothing to do with you. No matter what you would have said, I didn't want them to win anything anyway. Yeah,
I don't know if you know this. I have vitriol in my heart right now.
Oh, I'm well aware.
Guys, marriage is fun. Sometimes you get yelled at for everything and you can't do anything right. And then some days are just like that. And then you got to do a show in front of people. And now we're here and Jordan Klein's giving me the Google eyes like this, where it's like, what's he going to say next? What's he going to say next?
I didn't want to have to be a witness in a murder. No, I didn't hear anything, sir.
Wouldn't have been me doing it. That's for sure. I would have been the one getting hacked up and thrown out back. But there is that.
How close we were. How close we were. That's a shame. Well, we got a lot to talk about across these two games, across these four teams, just because on a day like today, everybody's in play. Well, just about everybody is in play because, there's not that many options. We got to break it all down. We will definitely mention just about everybody. So if you've got your what do you guys think about Sam Hauser type questions, just sit on that for like 45 minutes.
What do you think about Zubats today?
If I wish he played.
I was being sarcastic.
I hear you.
Other jokes.
Let's get into this. Pay up options. We've got two of them. $9,500 Jason Tatum, $9,400 SGA. 40% ownership to SGA. Call it 30 for Jason Tatum. Do you have a preference between the two? I do.
No, I don't really. I'm 10% on the side. I guess my lineups currently I have more SGA, but there's been some finagling back and forth where it's like there's part of me that's okay with getting to a little bit more Jason Tatum. He was somebody that I had a pretty large stand on. What was it, Sunday when they played last? And then I kept reducing it throughout the show where it was like, oh, now we're going to add more of this guy, Jalen Williams. And then it was like, by the end of it, I ended up with so little of him that I kind of feel stupid in hindsight there, although Kyrie worked out, so it didn't matter. I do think just ownership-wise, Jason Tatum makes some sense here, but I'm getting to more SGA, and I think I'm probably going to stay there because of some of the punt options, because of SGA, small forward eligible, Trey Murphy, small forward eligible. I think I'm going to just land on more of the point guard only SGA.
I have 50% of SGA right now, 30 of Tatum. They're both very easy to get to. You just don't really have much of a choice. The 8K range, on the other hand, looks very different for me. And we can have that conversation in a bit. And honestly, we'll just tail it into this one.
There's only two guys in the 8K range. So, I mean, that's kind of an easy combo.
2 in the 9s, 2 in the 8s. It's everything exists quite low today from a salary perspective. I have SGA relative to salary a couple points ahead of Jason Tatum, even in slightly less playing time, just because of the difference in what these matchups are. Miami is ultra slow. Boston is ultra slow. There's just a lot less possessions in that Miami-Boston game than there should be in New Orleans and OKC. So I'm happy to be neutral on Tatum. I would happily take a little bit more. I have one Boston guy that I'm much heavier on. I have all of the Oklahoma City guys that I'm just as heavy on. So that'll be another conversation for us. But if I'm picking between Tatum and SGA, I'm going to SGA. Anybody can get it done for Boston today, and it wouldn't surprise me. There's just no firepower left on the Miami side. So I feel more comfortable having Shea. Let's kick it down the notch. $8,200 Bam Adebayo,
Mhm.
8K Tyler Hero. They are currently making up 2% of my lineups total.
I get it. I mean, we're talking about the second best defense, adjusted defensive rating on dunks and threes over the course of the season. We're talking about a 205 total, 205 and a half, depending where you're looking. Fewer possessions, really difficult to see any competitive game environment here. It's almost like, not that I'm going to go back to doing this or filtering or, making a group or something of that nature, but like if I'm going to have if I'm going to have Bam, if I'm going to have Hero, if I'm going to have them like together in lineups, I'm definitely bringing a lot more of that game along for the ride and hoping it stays competitive or
Yeah.
something of that nature. It's easier to do on these short slates where you do kind of want to consider some of that stuff. I'm playing 20 lineups, one major lineup and playing that in single entry and everything. And I don't think that I'm going to have either of them in it, but they're two guys that if we got to the flip and we saw SG at 50% and we saw Jason Tatum at 35%, it wouldn't surprise me, but like I prefer them strongly over getting to Bam and to Hero as it stands right now. I don't have 2% total in my lineups. I do have 12% of Bam. I have 8%. So yeah, 2 of 20. Or what is that? 3 of, oh yeah, 8% out of 24. Yeah, whatever it is. So just less than 10% that I have of him at the moment. But I'm with you where neither of them look that good.
Yeah, I don't as of right now, and I've been getting a lot of Bam on these shows. We've been talking about
Yeah.
it pretty regularly through that play-in and the both play-in games, game one. I don't have them here. I don't have a single share of Bam today. Terrifying at the very least, because today's probably the day that he like goes nuts offensively for the first time in ages, and all of a sudden I can just stop watching by 7:45. But I have a hard time wanting to get there. It's a terrible matchup. I have one single share right now of Tyler Hero. I mean, he's 13% owned, but how does he break how does he break down this defense? No matter what matchup happens, he doesn't have an advantage. Like, oh, he got in a pick and roll, and now it's not Drew Holiday any longer. It's Jaylen Brown. Like, whoopee, congratulations. None of that's good for
No.
Tyler Hero. So on paper, like when I see Tyler Hero and not having him, I'm happy about it because I just don't see his path in this game other than just shooting the shit out of the wall and everything just going in. Bam is the one that scares me a little bit just because he's obviously significantly more talented than Tyler Hero.
Yeah, he's well, and that, and I guess we're maybe short selling the fact that there's at least some sort of assist upside with both of them. But Hero's the guy who leads between the two of them with Butler and Rozier off the floor, 18.9% assist percent. Oh, sorry, 20.8%, 23.8% over 809 minutes there. For Tyler Hero, Bam at 22.1%. I was looking at the assist two column, but anyway, Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier off the floor, pretty decent uptick there for Tyler Hero. I think his best chance is maybe just backdooring into like a double-double of some kind where you just see Hawkes or God forbid Highsmith, who I have 0 of at the moment, not shoots the shit out of it, and somebody just far outkicks their coverage, keeps it close in that regard. But Bam is 26.8% usage, 26.6%. So it's kind of negligible between the two. But then you look at positionality, it's so much easier to fill guard. Bam, if I'm going to just force him into one lineup, I had like 4% more of Bam. I do think Bam is the guy that I'd be more likely to get to, although Chet is now sub 7K there. We could be getting Jonas Valanciunas for too many minutes. That'll be a fun conversation yet again here with J-Val up to 5,700. But I am definitely looking at Tyler Hero as somebody that, probably going to be overowned just about any way you slice it.
Might as well take a peek through this 7K range and just really hit on everything that you quote unquote can pay up for. We've got Jaylen Brown at 7,600, CJ at 75, Ingram at 74, KP at 73. So just a pack of 2 Celtics, 2 Pelicans. They're all getting love. Around 45% for CJ and Brandon Ingram, around 30 for KP, around 21 for Jaylen Brown. Anybody jumping out of that group, because 2 of them are for me.
Yeah, McCollum and Ingram, but I feel like today comes down to which one. I don't know why I felt this way building it out, but I was just doing a hand build at the gym an hour or two ago, and it was just kind of sitting there working through it and kept landing on 7,400, 7,500. And McCollum and Ingram both sitting right there. Now, it could very easily be both of them in a game where they play massive minutes. Good to see Brandon Ingram ramped up to 37. I think he's going to end up being my priority because I can play him at shooting guard if I get to more SGA, if I get to more Jose Alvarado, who's currently showing up a lot for me as well. Probably just going to end up trimming some CJ McCollum for me. I don't know if I have a quote unquote preference between the two. You go through some of the rates, and McCollum really came on the second half of the season, but with Zion off the floor, it's been a 32% usage for Brandon Ingram. And I think that all things considered, being healthy, Brandon Ingram's the guy that I would trust to go out and just have that ceiling game that you would want. But we got to think about floor. It's a 2-game slate. We got to think about what those specific matchups might be. Even like Jalen Williams on Brandon Ingram did not look very enjoyable for Brandon Ingram there in that first round. They did some Case and Wallace stuff on CJ McCollum, but it can be Dort, it can be SGA. Neither of those are exciting opportunities too. There's a reason there's a 211 total, and their implied total is the lowest on the slate, but besides Miami, of course. But I think Brandon Ingram is the guy that I prefer, but it's ever so slightly.
Ingram in 76% of my lineups right now. That's the dude that I want for sure. I gave him 37 minutes. I think 40 is on the table now that we've seen him get north of 36. Like, all it takes is ultra competitive game, him being hot in the first half and picking up those minutes. So he's the dude that I want. But I'm also at 46% of a 30% owned Kristaps Porzingis.
Ooh.
I just think he's in a situation to be able to do whatever he wants, because he's either got an incredible matchup or it's just Bam switching out on him on the pick and roll, which might open up Porzingis for something that he doesn't normally do a lot, which are assists, because the moment he's pulling Bam out, somebody on that opposite side is about to have a clean path to the rim with nobody meeting him there. So my scary part for Porzingis is that he is sort of just the first action leading to someone else from Boston going crazy. But at the same time, I just think the matchup for him in particular is great just because of his ability to stretch the floor. So I'm getting to sizable amounts of Ingram and Porzingis. I'm a little bit over on Jaylen Brown. I only have 28%, but I'm pretty well under on CJ McCollum. Just, if I'm going to have so much Ingram, I'm kind of just losing McCollum in that same range. Not that I have much of a preference between the two. I do have Ingram 3 points better than him relative to salary. And the position itself is very helpful. I think that's what's separating those guys. But if I'm ranking it, it's Ingram, Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, and CJ. But that range, that 7K range in general, very popular.
Yep, very popular. And I guess it makes sense to have McCollum, who now you add more minutes in for Ingram. You got to think that that's going to be stripping away some of that usage. I mean, we see a 5% disparity with Zion off the floor. And I think that that's just, in a nutshell, like, if more of the field's going to get to McCollum, give me more Ingram for sure.
All right, I want to give a shout out to Chris Williams for gifting 5 subs. Always love seeing it. You're the man, so I appreciate that. And then the next super chat that we got, you should be well aware of it by now. Ace of Spades, DK tiers, best options. Here we go. Tier 1, SGA, Tatum, Bam, and Hero. That will be SGA.
SGA.
It's wild to see Bam and Hero be in that same tier, because I have Hero 17 fantasy points behind SGA.
It's a little, it would take a little bit of an outlier performance, I think. It would take an SGA floor and a Tyler Hero median or better to exceed that, which is pretty wild.
I mean, it's basically going to take an injury.
Well, there you go. That's the spirit.
Not that I want to put that out there.
I will say, what the hell with the minutes with Oklahoma City? I just want to throw that out there. I am tilted with 11 guys to have to deal with today.
I don't really think that we're dealing with 11 guys. I think we're only dealing with 7. I don't think you have to care at all about Aaron Wiggins, Kenrich Williams,
But it's the effect
Gordon
of the
Hayward.
other 4 on the main guy, like the SGA and the Giddey piece, where Giddey now is just there's going to be a game that you could play 20, you could play 28 minutes, and you're not going to know, and it's just going to suck. So fun, real fun.
I mean, for Giddey, it all comes down to they won't guard him. If the 3 goes, he gets to play more. If it doesn't, he doesn't get to play any longer. It's really quick because he's not bringing anything to the table defensively. He's very bad there. So
He's a
if
more
he's not hitting
expensive
open
Malik
threes,
Beasley. Oh,
no.
great.
So,
Awesome. I
well, I'm
enjoyed
sure he'll
that
play more
yesterday.
than
Sub
5
5%.
minutes. I'm sure he'll play
He
more than
played-
5 minutes.
He played 10, but yeah, same shit.
Yeah, but the final 5 don't count.
Thanks, pal. But really appreciate you.
Tier 2, Jaylen Brown, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Kristaps Porzingis.
That is Brandon Ingram.
I agree. Tier 3, Chet, Jalen Williams, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Trey Murphy.
That is Chet.
That is Jalen Williams for me.
They're like
Chet
0.4 away. Yeah.
Josh Giddey, Joe Val, Horford, Herb Jones, Jaquez, Martin.
Jaquez.
That's Joe Val for me.
I'm gonna do the same stupid shit I've been doing all postseason. Rip me.
I mean, I'm fading him in DFS, but in this case, I have him projected better than everybody else.
Yeah. Did you say Trey Murphy in that tier, by the way?
I did.
Okay, then it's Trey Murphy.
No, I did not.
Okay,
Murphy was in tier 3.
Okay, sorry, I'm working on the baseball shit because
Herb Jones was the other wing from the Pels.
Okay. Awesome.
Tier 4, Giddey, Joe. Nope, that's the one we just did.
I screwed you up.
Tier 5, Dort, Pritchard, Nance, Jovic, Hauser, Alvarado, and Highsmith.
Jones.
That's going to be Dort for me?
Question mark?
Yeah, Dort. And then finally, bringing up the rear, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, Dyson Daniels, Najee Marshall, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace, DeLon Wright, and Wiggins.
Oh my God, DeLon Wright by a lot.
DeLon Wright, but not by a lot. I have DeLon Wright over.
Well, relative to the range, I have him 3 more than Love.
Yeah, I guess it is just DeLon Wright for me as well. So there we go. So shout out Ace of Spades for that one. Bang Bro Nelly with the super chat. Are y'all mainly talking him DraftKings?
Yeah.
Yes. And Tupelo Joe, DK, best by position. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. SGA point guard. Hello.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams, probably for small forward. Trey Murphy, shooting guard. Power forward, Jovic for me. And center is Chet.
I don't even want to have that Jovic conversation, but not that I disagree with you. I just hate it.
I have infinity Jovic today. I find him unavoidable.
I knocked him down a lot personally because I think that he might lose some minutes. But I'm still neutral to the field. Like even cutting him, I can't cut him. So that's when I know like I just really don't have much of a choice. But he's the guy that I hate the most in terms of what I've got. But yeah, you hit those plays. Yeah, Jalen Williams, SGA, BI, Chet.
Fun.
Joe. I mean, honestly, like Joe Val is the quote unquote best at the 5, but not how I'm playing it.
Oh, okay, good. That makes me feel better because I am aggressively under, so this will be enjoyable.
So am I.
Okay.
But, you know, we got to be honest. He's 63% owned. Like there's a reason he's getting the ownership. There's certainly an upside. If the game's going well for him, he might play 30 minutes and you will absolutely have to have him. But there's also the downside of it going the complete opposite direction. This is just always going to be a tough one. Until it's not, it's going to be tough.
I just can't wait for the day. It's going to be better than sex. Not that I'm having any anyway, but that's a conversation for a different day. I'm basically looking at, I wanted to see if I could get a reaction from Jordan. He's not even listening. Not even listening. It was a marriage joke again. But anyway, I'm very much in the camp where Jonas Valanciunas is eventually, we're going to get that Larry Nance starts the second half alert. And oh, baby, it's going to be really hot. It's going to be really hot.
That is going to be the jumping off point. That's for sure. All right. Gangrene. Killing me here. 2v2. My recommendation would be go to stochastic.com and use the player compare tool, where if you're playing on DraftKings or FanDuel, you can ask 1v1 and 2v2 questions until you're blue in the face. But for this one, Derek White and Chet or Jaquez and Brown.
White and Chet. I just throw it in.
White. I don't have a lot of White.
Brown.
I do have a lot of Chet. Jaquez and Brown. I'm under on Jaquez and I'm over on Brown.
I'm way under on Jaquez today. And Brown, I have like virtually none of. So it's going to be White and Chet just because of Chet.
Agreed. Bang Bro Nelly again. Give me your top plays on FanDuel. Freshka, favorite plays on FanDuel. I'm
Favorite plays
sensing a
on
theme.
FanDuel. I didn't run lineups on FanDuel here yet. Let me crunch this.
I try not to usually because it's FanDuel. Jalen Williams,
Oh
CJ,
shit.
SGA, Jason Tatum, Bam.
Yeah, Bam's 8,100 on FanDuel. That's a spicy meatball.
Yeah.
JVL 6,900 on FanDuel today. No, thank you. Probably gonna get him low owned, but good lord, Chet is 8,200. Yeah, definitely go Bam there. So Bam at center.
But Jalen Williams, CJ McCollum, SGA, and Tatum are the top 4 guys in our optimal rate on FanDuel. And then the first center to show up is Bam by a little bit, too. Allrat, have any smash bets for tonight? That's
Yes,
going to
I
be
do.
you.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. My favorite one, Kristaps Porzingis. I was able to get under 2.5 3-pointers, -150. He's basically like -190, best available right now. So that was fun. Larry Nance, I like more, pretty much everything. DK DFS, who has done a lot of shows with Josh over there on the Deeper Dive, one of my buddies from many, many moons ago in a Discord and far, far away. He had a really great single game parlay where you basically just short JVal. You take alternate overs on Larry Nance and you build out the script where for once in our lifetime, they're down 8 or 10 to start off a first quarter with JVal on the floor and he just never steps foot on it again. That'll be a really enjoyable experience. So I love that from a betting perspective. I also think this is kind of a weird one, but like, I'm curious what you think about it. I really love the combo of parlaying in some capacity, be it at a pick'em site or anywhere else, where you just take Delon Wright and Jovic, and you just take more, because I think both of them have an opportunity if this game ends up down 20 to be able to not be on the floor. I also think if this game ends up competitive, they're probably two of the guys who there's just no offense to be found here. And I found it very surprising to see 5.5 for Delon Wright be the posted number. I'm pretty in love with that play in pick'em and everywhere. I don't expect 5 for 5 from 3, but like, the line is 5.5. He played 26 minutes. He was actually functional offensively, whereas you can't say that about just about anybody besides Bam in that first game. I don't know. I feel like the combination of the two just make a lot of sense to put together at these low numbers.
Jovic just scares me because they never play him in the fourth. So
they played him at the 5 in the second quarter in game 1, which I don't expect that. But again, like if they really don't want to put Kevin Love on the floor, they really won't put Kevin Love on the floor again.
That was only really like a minute, though, wasn't it? Off the top of my head. Either way, I have one little stat that is the reason that scares me here. So PvP stats allows you to filter based on like any group of 5 guys being on the floor at the same time. So I took everybody that's playing right now for the Heat. And, you know, it's not the biggest sample in the world, but upwards of 127 minutes for Jaime Jaquez in the fourth quarter with the rotation pieces from today. So Jaquez is at 127, Bam at 126, Highsmith at 107, Tyler Hero at 100. Nikola Jovic, with this group of dudes that are playing today, has only played 11 minutes in the fourth quarter with at least 4 of these guys on. Even if you want to just open that up to at least 4 and work Butler back into that conversation, Nikola Jovic has played 46 minutes with at least 3 of their rotation guys in the fourth quarter, where you get Bam and Jaquez upwards of 300, Hero 200, and he was obviously limited for most of this year. They are really loath to play him in the fourth quarter. It's part of the reason that I'm scared about getting him today, because he was like minus 27 plus minus or something dumb
minus
in the first game.
Yeah.
There you go. So if that's just what he is in the playoffs, because that's his skill level now, they might pull the plug even faster. And they already don't seem like they want to put him out there in the fourth.
If he is, I mean, he didn't really take enough shots in that first stint. It was like 1 for 2 from the field. came back in. By the way, it was a 3-minute stint where he basically played the 5. You could call Highsmith the 5 if you really want to.
No, that would be Jovic to me.
Yeah, it would be Jovic, I think, to me too. But you had Hero, Jaquez, Martin, Highsmith, and Jovic close it out. They rested Bam for 3 minutes. I don't know. Did he get dinged up or something? I don't remember that happening. That it's kind of a weird footnote to throw out there that they didn't bring Kevin Love in for Bam in that rotation. So it was a 3-minute stint for Jovic playing the 5. And maybe it was just like an experiment to see how does he do against Porzingis in some capacity if Porzingis is going to sit on the perimeter. I mean, if Porzingis goes to the block, he's going to absolutely destroy Jovic in any way, shape, or form. But I do think that Jovic getting hot, which we've seen multiple times for him, where he gets the first crack at it. If he knocks down some shots early, I do think there's a chance without Butler, without Rozier, if he's the guy who's being functional offensively, we could see him come back in. It got really wonky in that fourth quarter. So I think the right answer is like, I don't know what they're going to do in a close game, but like, that's still an unlikely outcome. So I think you're probably going to have Jovic come back on the floor in like a 20-point blowout. You're probably going to see, if it stays close, he's probably, well, I'm not saying that he's going to be a reason why, because you could have a lot of guys be the functional piece there, but Jovic 7.5. I saw he got moved to 8 on PrizePicks, so don't do that. Check out Sleeper. I think he's still 7.5 over there for the people in the pick'em sites. And then Delon Wright 5.5 points. I really like that combination of 2. Again, not expecting Delon Wright to go crazy, but I don't think Duncan Robinson's capable of playing 20 minutes yet. I don't even know if they want him to play 20 minutes at this point, if it's going to be like just them trying to slow down the pace and make this a grinded out, see if we can keep it close and have an outlier 3-point outcome. But I am of the mind that Delon Wright over 5.5 is a great play.
Hero, Martin, Jaquez, Jovic, Adebayo, starting lineup for the Heat. So I just wanted to announce that now that it just came up. And now I want to announce the most important part of today's show. You guys know what it is. Nope. I know what it is.
Nope.
So why am I waiting? Who's the exotic play of the night? Would have been pretty weird to see a different name than that one.
I know it wouldn't. I know, but I'm just saying the stuff out loud. It would have been surprising to see anything other than the 5 he said for Miami too. But
they could have done anything today, and I would have believed it. But who's the exotic play of the day?
Doesn't matter. It's Chet Holmgren for me. It's pretty clear cut. I don't think that there's anybody else that remotely comes close to him. I suppose I have more Jovic, so there's that, but I don't want to make him the stamp of approval, do what I'm doing. Maybe it's like, do as I say, not as I do. And he's got a 1% chance of booming. I hate how much Jovic I have. So I will just go elsewhere here, friends. I got to go to Chet Holmgren, who, if they're going to have Jonas Valanciunas out on the floor, just rip. I mean, rip. Chet Holmgren, wide open perimeter, be able to do what he wants off the dribble. And I mean, I don't understand it. So just give me Chet Holmgren for all the money and all the land. Chet Holmgren, exotic play of the night.
Technically speaking, that would be mine as well. He's my most exposed guy in this spot. But I don't want to just hold hands with you for this particular pick. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go with my next most exposed. And that is going to be Tingus Pingus.
Oh, God.
He's the white of the night. Love it.
It rolls off your tongue a little too freely now. You're getting a little comfortable with white of the night.
I mean, you know, I'm not going to say I had this gimmick before I got to the show, but I had this gimmick before I got to the show. You know what I'm saying? Pingus, Pingus,
Carolina,
baby.
Come on and raise up. Take your shirt off. Twist it around your head, spinning like a helicopter. I got that Jeff Gordon car out front. Get her done.
Jeff Gordon Chevrolet is in Wilmington.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. I think it's Chevrolet. I assume it's Chevrolet. I don't know. It could be Ford. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Double is the promo code that people could be looking for if you're looking to just figure out a little bit of what we have on the MLB side. $5 for a week of our MLB lineup generator. We create all the lineups for you. We evaluate them. We get rid of everything that stinks. We present the rest to you. If you like it, click save. If you don't, click discard. You can do it for DraftKings or FanDuel. You could lock players and swap players, contrarian builds, chalky builds, balance builds. Export up to 20 via CSV for $5. Your worst case scenario here is you use it, you hate it, you cancel, and you're out $5. But I think if you haven't done anything at Stochastic yet, this is a really good tester for you to come check out what we've got going on, because the lineup generator is the perfect tool for somebody playing 1, 2, 3 lineups, upwards of 20, and it's incredible mobile. You can very easily use the lineup generator on your phone, grab that lineup, and immediately get yourself to DraftKings and FanDuel. So if you want to take advantage of that deal, link in chat or the description. All right. Who are your favorite GPP plays? Who are you most over the field on?
Oh God. So Jovic, I have infinity of. So that's a really enjoyable experience at 70%, but is what it is. I mean, I know why I'm rostering him. I really, at this point, it is what it is. Have nearly 100% Trey Murphy. So there's another one. He's played 43, 44 minutes. It would take foul trouble and or injury to stop him from playing 40 plus here in this spot. And 0.92 fantasy point per minute guy with Zion off the floor. There are more minutes now for Ingram and McCollum going next to each other, which is not exactly ideal for a guy, but 16.5, 17.5, it's just kept on rising his points prop. He can be the guy offensively to help him stretch it, probably avoid some of the just disaster defensive assignments. But I guess Lou Dort, it just depends on how much he's out there. They can bring Case and Wallace out, so we'll slide SGA over. That's not exactly ideal either for him, but it's really just no configurations of OKC defensively other than having Giddey on the floor that's going to help out Trey Murphy. Also, just with you playing a lot of SGA here now, I went from about 50% to 60% in my last run, so quite a bit over on him. And then Caleb Martin, kind of the same thing as Jovic, where 4,600, I'm looking in this mid 4K range. It's Dort, it's him, and I just get to a little bit more Caleb Martin because Dort is 61% owned, so trimming a little bit of that fat and just adding it to Mr. Caleb Martin at the identical number.
I have 3 guys right now where I'm 30% or higher than the field, but all 3 of those guys are like 50% owned. It's Lou Dort, it's Brandon Ingram, it's Jalen Williams. I don't think me talking about those guys are like the plays for anybody. Similarly, Chet, I'm 20% and over. Porzingis, I'm over. The guy that I think is, I have 3 dudes that are less than 10% owned, where I'm 2xing or 3xing or potentially 4xing.
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
in 18% of my lineups, we're projecting him for 5% ownership. Could very easily just catch fire, could easily pick up more minutes. Like, they're not loyal to anything in these lineups right now other than Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. So if things are going well for Duncan Robinson, the dude's just going to keep playing for sure. No doubt about it. Love the idea of him just shooting his way into it today. Al Horford at 5K. He's 7% owned. I've got 20% right now. Just a different way to get some low ownership and try and be a little bit more unique on a 2-game slate. He's going to play 25, 26 minutes. He has the power forward eligibility, which is massive. If he was just center, it'd be really hard to get to him. But the fact that he can get in at power forward is pretty helpful for me. And then Case and Wallace, who was a star defensively late. They were doing offense defense between him and Isaiah Joe. He's 6% owned. I have 18. I think they will look to him if they're trying to maintain a lead late. I think they look to Case and Wallace over, someone like Josh Giddey and just try to make the defense more lethal, because Wallace put CJ on lock right before that final shot.
That was incredible defense.
Those 3 guys I have about 20% of. They're all less than 10% owned. Those are like my key GPP options for today.
Let me get to the lower owned ones that you guys want to hear more of than the ones up top, because again, I'm just working down from my exposures and have them next to what we have listed for ownership and optimal percentage from the boom bust tool. I'm really, really high on Jose Alvarado too, relative to the field, 40% of him, so double the field there. And then Delon Wright, so another point guard that 4,700, tons of positive leverage coming in on him, 25%. Brought him up earlier in the 5.5 point category. I don't feel the warm and fuzzies here with Delon Wright. I'm a little bit worried too that it's probably not going to be that big of a deal, because DFS people are using tools, using our stuff here now, and life is a lot better than what it was before. But there's going to be some box score people still looking at D'Lo, right? I don't expect 5 for 5 from three. I don't expect anything close to what we had, but he's projected for around 19. I have him for 26 minutes. I think there's ways that he could play a little bit more, a little bit less. Wouldn't surprise me either direction, but there are ways where at 4,700 he pans out. So it's kind of the same thing as Alvarado, a little bit more expensive, but projected a little bit better.
I like it. I like it. Now we need to go to sort of the most important GPP play, which we have a name for. And it's the guy that blows your ding dong right off your body. Who's going to be today's nuke of the night?
I hate it.
All right. And we got an ownership update like a minute ago if you're interested in like running your final stuff.
Thank you. I do. That's so nice of you. Look at you being so kind to me now.
I'm so kind all of the time.
That's what I felt. I really am feeling the love today, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it in chat. Everybody basically just calls me Kind Josh. It's, I mean, it's, I don't want to say it's a nickname. It's almost just like I've taken it on, like Sir Elton John, Kind Josh Engleman.
That's a fucking lie.
Well, sorry you feel that way. Who's your nuke in the night?
I think. Well, do I want to go the popular nuke of the night or the not popular nuke of the night? Which is more fun?
Give them both. It's fat man and little boy.
Okay, so starting at the top end here, he played 37 minutes. He got locked up. Jalen Williams put him in a blender, stirred him up. It was what it was. But Brandon Ingram is 7,400, point guard, shooting guard. I just reran my stuff about five ago. I'm run it one more time. But one thing that's happened throughout the show here is we've talked about certain plays. Brandon Ingram, if I'm looking at McCollum here at 47.5%, and I look at Ingram at 45.8%, I can't help but look at their year-long rates on the floor here. I know that Brandon Ingram is injured. I know that he's just coming back quick and that it hasn't looked pretty by any means a week and a half in, but like, you want to be early to the party on somebody like this who definitely has a pronounced upside. And I think Brandon Ingram is just a better play at the identical tag, basically. So Brandon Ingram, I'm making a pretty large stand with my nuke of the night on the top end, but then it can't be anybody on the bottom end but Larry Nance here. 4,700. 7.5% ownership, 11% chance of being optimal, but we've seen it during the regular season. I've brought it up for 3 consecutive games. I played J-Val the first time. I didn't play him the second time. I didn't play him the third time. I'm not going to play him at 60% ownership the fourth time. I'm trimming it. There's going to be a game where he goes from being projected at 33 to playing 10, 12 minutes. It's going to happen. Maybe it doesn't because he smashes again in a first rotation. And it's Groundhog's Day. It's Groundhog's Day again. But Larry Nance, friends, is going to have one of those massive ceiling games at the expense of J-Val. And they're just so negatively correlated in a lot of game scripts throughout this season, where one just completely gets there. And because of the price ranges that they're at, it's not, I have to have this either or. I get a savings on Larry Nance and potential 30+ minutes. If that game script comes to fruition, Larry Nance, the cheap nuke of the night.
You didn't take either one of mine. Like the Nance shout, scares me, but obviously the upside there is massive. But I'm going to go a different direction. We haven't really talked about him a lot, but heading into this show, he was my second most exposed guy of anybody that exists. Lou! Give me Lou Dort, baby. It's Lou Dort season.
Oh
Lou Dort taking the reins from Gary Harris, taking the reins from Jaden McDaniels. It's Lou Dort season. Love the position, love the price. He's going to be out there for every minute that he could handle, but he's also going to be taking on heavy defensive assignments. Grab a couple steals, Lou. What do you say? It's Lou Dort, baby. Nuke of the night.
I just had flashbacks to the bubble where it was Chris Paul, it was SGA, and it was Dennis Schroeder. And Lou Dort was the guy putting up 30 balls in certain spots. Do you remember those days, how dumb they were? Like, what was even going on with Lou Dort then? Why could he shoot then? Was it truly because of the gym?
I don't know. It was weird. It was weird.
He really liked to chuck. They would leave him alone. That was part of it, but it was pretty wild to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he had one game where he just couldn't miss.
Yeah.
Oh God, good
He had more
times,
than
good
one
times.
game where he couldn't miss. It's wild.
I'm already never Dort. Can't take Dort. I heard you dummies for Gary Harris. You were wrong. I heard you dummies. Oh, Jaden McDaniels. Come on. No,
Back to back.
wrong again.
You
Guys,
are on a heater, and you never walk away from the table when you're on a heater.
no, you don't. Look, guys, as much as I would love to only roster Jason Tatum, SGA, Bam, Hero, Brown, CJ, and Brandon Ingram, you gotta prioritize the guys at the bottom just as much as you prioritize the guys on the top. And I think Dort is in his range of salary, not even comparable to anything else around him.
Josh does that same thing in an orgy for what it's worth.
What do I do in an orgy?
You
Besides
take care
let
of the guys
everyone
on
down?
the top. Yeah, you got to take care of the guys on the top just as much as you got to take care of the guys on the bottom.
Yeah.
You're kind like that.
If I'm in an orgy, I'm probably the camera operator. It's just nobody needs me there.
Why is this a visual? Oh my fucking god!
Nobody
Get today
needs me
over
there.
with. Get today over with, please.
I'm like a lefty reliever. I come in for one batter and then I'm already back in the dugout.
Unbelievable.
All right, so I just finished running both of my little sims. We got to talk a little bit here about Sleeper, presenting sponsor. You see it on the banner at the top of the screen. You see it on the TV behind Eric's head. Up to $500 on your first deposit. I can't reiterate this stuff enough, guys. Every day we do this read, I tell you guys what to do. You got to listen to me. Take advantage of this deposit bonus. To get upwards of $500 is better than anything else that you could look for. You want plays when you're watching this show or from OddsShopper? You're never going to get the same sort of ROI on any of it as compared to taking a deposit bonus. Grab as much money as you can. OddsShopper can help you for more plays. We've got VODs constantly on the OddsShopper channel, giving out even more plays. They've got multipliers on their picks. They're called dynamic payouts. You can get multipliers up to 100x to pay out. Play through the bonus. Maybe by the time you're done that, you've been chopping up Sleeper and you want to stay. Maybe you didn't chop it up, but you still have money there, and now you want to go find out a different site. You're going to end up with more money if you take advantage of this deposit bonus. It's the best one in the industry. Link in chat or the description. All right. I just finished off my run. I'm refreshing my workbook. I'm terrified to see everything that I'm getting.
Oh my god. So I ran a sim where it was just just our straight projections. You get 100% JVal, and I have 0%. So this is the once again, one of us is going to be right today. That's enjoyable. Unless he puts up 30, I suppose.
On my first run, I got 2%. Now I am manually pulling him up a little bit. I don't think it's in my best interest to have 2% when he's 64% owned. Although, look, the path to money is there for sure. But I'm going to get around 10. But that's all I'm really looking for in this spot. Jalen Williams is going to be the guy that I really can't break free from. He is going to be in just about everything that I do today. Don't mind it at all. Love the spot. Dort also in just about everything that I'm doing today. Again, don't hate it. He looks great. I love the position. I love the price. I love everything that's happening here. Yep. But I have 80+% of Lou Dort, 80+% of Jalen Williams. I kind of like where I'm at right now. Oh, I just got a random Aaron Wiggins share. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that.
Yeah, I have 0, so I'm just typed him in. Yep. This is going to be pure pain again. This pure pain incoming every time. All I feel is sadness in my heart. So that's cool.
That makes me sad to hear.
I know. Well, it is what it is. Can't really say anything other than what it is. Still happy with my exposures actually right now. Just reran everything with what I wanted there. I am going to upload this and call it a day because nothing is going to change. Highest owned player, 75% Delon Wright. Rip me.
It's a big number.
I'm going to probably trim that. We're going to take that down a little bit.
How much do I have of Delon Wright? I have 16.
I have more. So I just trimmed him to 50. So that makes me happy. I'm actually okay making an aggressive Delon Wright stand. I think I'm projecting him for 27 or 26 minutes there. Yeah, that made sense. You don't have him for that many?
No, I have less than that. But my was not for that. I was clicking in one workbook and it was like moving stuff around in another one. And I was like, I
Absolute
don't know
worst.
how I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I'm trying to do is just paste my lineups into my upload CSV just so I can have a little bit of peace of mind. We can hit on the rest of those super chats and everything else that's come in. Get ready. We have 2v2s and 3v3s for FanDuel. So been
Ready,
trying to just
men,
kill
they're
enough
coming.
time until they go away, but unfortunately that didn't work.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Again, stochastic.com player compare tool is completely free and does that.
But
anyway,
they don't want that apparently. They want to torture you, which I think is funny too.
All I'm going to do is read those results. FanDuel, Josh Giddey and CJ McCollum, or Hero and Herb Jones?
The first one.
I don't know any other anythings, so let's pull that bad boy up in the player compare tool, which you could have used for free.
Did my buddy seriously send me that he's playing in the 1-800-Flower series free contest? Who should I play? What the fuck do you think I'm doing right now, sir?
You know, Jordan, you also have access to the super chats. That would be Giddey and CJ or Hero and Herb Jones.
Call him out. Call him out. Jordan, you haven't had to do shit for weeks. Stop it.
That's going to be CJ and Josh Giddey. Next. Joval, Tatum, Pritchard, Bam, Williams, Jones. That one is not close to me. Assuming Williams is Jalen and Jones is Herb Jones. That is
who?
Joval, Tatum, Pritchard. This is FanDuel again.
I was doing the Herb Jones bit. I was doing the Mike Jones because that's all I
Bam, Williams, Jones. It's not close.
Back then, Hose didn't want him. Now he's hot. Hose are all on him, but they don't guard
gave
him.
us no site whatsoever, just Chet or Jalen Williams. So I'll just say Jalen Williams with no other information.
Seems good. Seems good.
Let's see. Josh will be struggling at halftime when Dort has negative fantasy points. Yeah, that won't be fun. That will not be fun.
Incoming. Yeah, it's probably going to happen. So whatever.
Who's going to take the dump in your lineup?
Somebody said my wife earlier. That sounds about right. I will go with. It's got to be D-Lon right now, even 50%. I mean, I'm just aggressively high on a guy who's projected for 5.5 points everywhere. That doesn't feel good. Him and Jose Alvarado, both of those guys, punting on a lot of point guard, getting away from some of the CJ McCollum ownership, playing more SGA, getting to more Brandon Ingram shooting guard. Just going through these lineups, it is going to be that. Oh, I know it is. Jovic. 55% Jovic. That is absolutely going to be an 8-ball, so that'll be enjoyable.
I mean, for me, it's Joval. Like that, he's going to go out there, get 4 offensive rebounds immediately off of his own misses, pad his fantasy stats like he did in game 1, and immediately just become a problem that I don't want to deal with. I have 14% of Joval right now. I hope when we get to lock that the 64% ownership that we projected is low.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be useful.
Anybody that we haven't mentioned that you think we should? You know, like your Najee Marshalls.
Well, I was going to ask you about Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins. Like specifically these guys. If you're playing large field tournaments and you're just looking for the home run play, I gotta think that come playoff time here, if there's a script where they're 7.5-point favorites, but we saw it pretty recently here where New Orleans kept it close. Maybe New Orleans is up 5, 6, 7. There's a lot of spots where Isaiah Joe comes in and has a ton of utility to just stretch the floor, knock down shots. One of the better just knockdown shooters. Aaron Wiggins better defensively, but do you have any of those guys? Because you took Aaron Wiggins out of that share. Is Isaiah Joe somebody you're playing at all?
Nope, don't have any. I just don't think there's going to be enough minutes. They're like these are the guys that can play their way into a couple extra minutes, but I'm just not down in that range right now.
Got it.
Like
That's
Duncan
fine.
Robinson is my Isaiah Joe.
Gotcha. I think that is understandable. Duncan Robin is your Isaiah Joe, and that's fine. I mean, obviously a lot more expensive, but I think
Duncan
Duncan
Robinson is
Robinson's
$100 cheaper.
is he really? What am I looking at
I
here?
wouldn't make it up.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, 3,500. I honestly I have zero Duncan Robinson, so I didn't think about it at any point. I have Duncan Robinson in for 16 minutes, so is what it is. Cason Wallace, 3,500. I prefer Cason Wallace. I have him. Let's see here.
By the way, shout out Jeffrey Epstein for knowing that I could be on Jeopardy. I appreciate that. I'm going to read that question, or I'm going to read that statement in the way that I intend. By the way, 3 minutes to go.
I don't know why he wants to. I mean, what would be your category? Like, what's your ideal category that isn't sports related? What do you know the most about?
Let's see.
It's not a good start.
I mean, like life in general. I know everything.
So modest too. It's perfect.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like obviously sports, movies, music, pop culture, that genre is going to help me a lot. Flags of countries would be pretty good.
Okay, Ben Raza.
It's a FIFA thing. You see so many of them next to people's names that you start to learn where everybody's from and what the flag looks like.
It's fair.
Josh from Los Angeles said, "I love you." Member for 35 months.
It's amazing. 35 months, my dude. We appreciate you.
I guess next month it might be a new icon. I don't know. I don't know if it's changes at 4.
May 1st is basically my 4-year anniversary at the company, which is pretty cool.
I just hit my 6 last month.
That's awesome.
And I'll hit 10 years of marriage this May.
It's fantastic too.
You're not going to hit that, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I might get my head chopped off. But fortunate thing is she's never like watched any shows that I've ever done. So that's always a plus, knowing that like I kind of have free reign to say whatever or do whatever. But yeah.
This is going to be Anatomy of a Fall. She's going to toss you out of a 3rd-story window. Maybe.
It's live. It's live. But, you know, at the same time, it was really fun working with you all. Appreciate everybody and the nice comments. Actually, appreciate the trolls too, because when you look back on your life, it's the entire the downs create the ups. The you can't have the peaks without the valleys, that's for sure. So thank you to you incestuous trolls.
All peaks right here. Just permanent.
Please shut up.
Permanent peak.
Please shut up.
In theory, you can never stop going up. Right?
You can totally stop going up. Like
when?
Well,
Universe
I mean, like
infinite.
speedometer of life. Yeah, I suppose it's always going up. You're always getting older. If you want to think about it that way.
Universe is infinite. If I'm going towards a peak, I can go right by the peak, straight out into space, forever.
Wow. That's what we're going to end on, huh?
I think that's what we're going to end on. 6:59 and 55 seconds. We're on our way to playback, folks. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Sleeper, playback.tv/stochastic. Come watch some basketball with us. Hang out. Maybe you can grab a VIP pass. We got 40 of them. That'll allow you to watch along with us. For Eric and Jordan, I'm Josh. Remember, kind Josh. Let's put that into our lexicon moving forward. I'll talk to you guys later.
Not a thing.
No, Hawk. Have you seen the guy named Amy on Jeopardy? Yes, I have. It's a woman.